Alright guys, welcome to another beer review. Let's just fix the camera. And today we're going back over to Germany to the, I always forget the proper pronunciation of this beer, or brewery I should say, because I don't just say Tegernsee. So this is of course a beer from the Herzoglich Bayerisches Brauhaus Tegernsee, out of Tegernsee, obviously. And let's see, it's actually got a little information about the name of this beer, so going to make it very awkward and try to translate it. But yeah, before we get into that, so we are looking at a bottle of the Max E. Josef export beer, which is clocking in at 5.2% ABV, and picked this up from Arcade Beers in Huddersfield when I was visiting Stuart, Rob and Craig. Craig from Kent Beer Reviews, Rob from Hopsy, and Stuart from Ginger Ale Trail. Had an absolutely wonderful day. Wish I could have spent a little bit more, but I was in work today. I actually went yesterday. And to be honest, I didn't really have too much of a hangover today, so I could have probably stayed over and got the train in the morning, but I did not want to tempt fate because, yeah, I can't think of anything worse than being hungover in your place of work. So, yeah, but I still had an absolutely wonderful day. Got to go to, of course, Magic Rock. Great little set, well, say little, but great setup they've got there in the tap room. And yeah, obviously went to Arcade. I went to a couple of pubs as well. There was a food festival on it as well. I had a really nice, like, I think it was slow smoked brisket with bacon on the bun with chip. Oh, it's just absolutely wonderful. Had a great day. Had some fantastic pork pies and a full English breakfast Scotch egg. So I ate and drank well on that day. But yeah, so picked this up from Arcade Beers. Great little place. Maybe a little bit too small for my tastes, but if you like intimate settings, then you will really enjoy it. Great range of beers on tap. Great range of beers in the fridges. And yeah, it's just a shame that the tiny room underneath where you can sit is right next to a toilet. And anyway, I got a compliment for my track t-shirt, so I'm happy. And they actually even asked if I worked there. I was like, I fucking wish. But yeah, so I saw this in the fridge and I was like, I have to have that because I never even saw that at all when I was in Germany. And of course, I saw the Tegernsee Helles. I saw the Spezial. Never saw the Pilsner, which is wonderful, by the way. And of course, never saw the Doppelbock, which is now available here in the UK in some bottle shops. But yeah, I picked this up because anytime I see a German beer that I've not had, I feel the need to pick one up. So yeah, looking forward to giving this a try. So, the export beer. So then, zum 200 Jahre Geburtstag der Gründung des Königreichs Bayern durch Max E. Josef haben wir getreu dem bayerischen Reinheitsgebot ein Exportbier gebraut. Max E. Josef war es auch der 1870er erste Wittelbacher Brauherr in Tegernsee wurde. Das Brauhaus Tegernsee ist bis heute im herzoglichen Familienbesitz. So, if I can decipher that properly with a very stereotypical Bavarian accent for whatever reason. If you've ever seen a show called Bauern sucht Frau, which is Farmer Wants a Wife, then you will have probably recognised that stereotypical, bordering slightly racist Bavarian accent. I do apologise. But let's see. So on the 200th birthday of the Bayern, so I think this was to celebrate was he the king at the time, or was he the head brewer at the brewery? Oh my god, this is absolutely horrific. You'd have thought that 4 years in Bavaria, in Regensburg, I'd be much better suited to read this. Okay, but I can tell at the end it's basically the brew house Tegernsee is today still in the Herzoglichen family, so it's still within the family. And Wittelsbacher Brau here. I'm not sure what that translates to, but yeah, I think Max Joseph or Max E. Joseph L. Oh my god, this is terrible. So he's the first. Was he the first head brewer at Tegernsee? I'm not too sure. That's absolutely terrible, and I do apologise for causing potential offence to anybody who works for the brewery who may be watching this, or anybody who actually knows what they're talking about. Yeah, I really need to go to night classes and touch up my German, because I would love to move back there, because it's an absolutely beautiful country, especially if you're in Bavaria itself, and there's still a lot that I need to visit in Germany, so yeah, I'd love to actually be able to go there again. I mean, I've been I went back to Regensburg earlier this year, and it's just as beautiful as I remember it. And I think next time I want to try and get to Berlin to go to like the real like haven of craft beer in Germany. The Himmel of German craft beer, I'd say, because there's quite a lot going on in Germany in general, but Berlin is just a place, just a cultural hotspot that I want to visit in general, to be honest. But yeah, so we've got a bit of an export lager, which figures the Dortmunder style. Can't really remember. I can't actually find a bottle opener, so I'm going to have to use the what I learned in Germany by using inanimate objects to open beer. So this will probably not end well because it's a circular lighter, but we shall give it a try anyway. So let's see. So what you have to do is you have to like basically cause like a pivot so you can flip that and it essentially opens up. But I think you need a sort of like straight edge to do it, because that's just too circular. I mean, we've got this part here, but I don't want to break my lighter, of course. Can we get this open? That's just going to break the lighter, isn't it? No, God, even my German popular culture has suffered. Anyway, this is a very awkward beer review, so let's just look away now, because I'm going to use the classic using the old canine technique. So 3, 2, 1, look away, close your ears. You can look now. So yeah, never gets old. And yeah, I don't actually have any of my German beer glasses here. They're downstairs being washed. So I'm going to be using a glass that I've not used for a long time, actually. The Nugnu snifter glass. But anyway, let's see what we get with this one. And I'd also like to apologise to my good friend James from Rampant Wine Beer Reviews, who actually spent the day with me in Regensburg. And even though he's not living in Germany, probably knows much better consistent German than I do. I was learning it at like sort of the Volkshochschule, which is sort of like it's not really like a college or anything. It's just they do all sorts of different courses, and for some reason I just could not grasp it. You get some little parts that you really grasp. I'm really good with words. I could understand for the most part what people are saying, but I can't really converse too much. But yeah, anyway. This beer looks like you would expect it to. It's crisp, it's clean, it's golden, lovely carbonation. And the beer's poured with about just shy of 2 fingers worth of a white looking head. Yeah, it's what a German lager should look like by all accounts. So let's see what we get on the nose. Lovely sort of pale malt character. There's a little bit of a like herbaceous edge in there. You definitely pick up like a crisp, biscuity, cracker-like malt. Some subtle white pepper notes. There's that muskiness that I really enjoy with these beers. You know, it smells like a traditional Bavarian farm. What a terrible way to describe a beer. But it's better than saying horse blanket for like Belgian beers. Because who's really gone up to a horse blanket and like gone, that reminds me of a beer that I once drank. But yeah, it's got that sort of like musky, sort of like damp wood, almost rotten sort of aroma. But obviously not rotten, because then it would be very unpleasant. But this is, it's simple, it's crisp, it's got a very subtle sweetness there. But it's that musk. It's a really good musky beer. It's like if this was a person or a location, this would be the small room where the people were conversing in Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy. It's like a 70s masculine man with a moustache, gelled, combed back hair, and a tweed jacket, whiskey on his breath, musky, woody aftershave. It's basically like a 70s porn star in a glass in terms of his musk. I do apologise to the guys over at the brewery if they are watching this. I should be a little bit more respectful of these sorts of beers. But anyway, that's just that's just me, to borrow a quote from a good friend Craig. And yeah, if you want to know a bit more of a better history of this beer, I will be sure to put a link down below. Anyway, I sort of get the idea of what this beer is about. It's a bit of a celebratory beer, I suppose. Anyway, enough of the waffling. Let's get on with the quaffling. Cheers. Loads of herbal hoppy notes in this beer. It's not hoppy in like hoppy scents that we've come to know. But it's got that sort of like earthy dirtiness there. It's very green in its hoppy character without being like green hop burn sort of thing. Again, biscuity, cracker-like malts. It's got that crisp body, but the carbonation creates foam almost, and it smooths it out a little bit. Very easy drinking, very crushable. It's simple, it's precise. It's not going to blow you away, but it's again one of those beers where if you've got a big stein of this or a mass of this, and you know you're at the brewery itself, let's say, and you're in the beer garden, that sort of thing. The sun's beaming down. You've got beautiful Bavarian landscape surrounding you. You've got great company. There are people around you having just a great time. It's one of those sorts of beers. It's one of those after work beers. It's one of those beers that's going to pair well with most foods. It's simple. It's quite robust in that sort of sense. It's very versatile. But at the same time, if you just wanted a simple, satisfying drinking experience, it's a German, precise, classic beer. And yeah, you know, you can have like the most hype beast, amazingly hoppy beer that's just hit the market. But I know for a fact, for the price of that beer, I could pick up 2 or 3 bottles of this and enjoy that experience more. And these are those beers that take me back to sitting in like beer gardens in Germany on hot summer days in Germany, just sat in a little patch of grass at your apartment, or maybe you and your friends are going for a barbecue, that sort of thing. It takes you back to those sorts of times. And I think that happens a lot with German beer in general. I do tend to over-romanticize German brewing and brewing history, just because I've lived that. You know, for 4 years I was in Germany with access to these beautiful, simple, and expertly brewed traditional beers. And yeah, some people go, oh, they're a little bit boring, a little bit... No, to me, this is what I want with beer. I just want something that's so satisfying to consume that I can just enjoy, don't have to pick it apart too much, which I have done in this review, because it's a review after all. But yeah, this would be... I'd happily just sink a few bottles of this. I really, really would. And it's a lovely beer. Very subtle lemony tones as well I'm getting on the back end. But you get like a... I've noticed this a lot with Tegernsee. there's like a distinct hoppiness to them. And the Tegernsee Pils is one of the hoppiest traditional pilsners that I've ever had, and it's a beautiful beer. Of course, I need to try the Doppelbock from these guys. Any Doppelbock that I ever come across, I am buying, because it's such a beautiful style. But this, as an export style beer, which I think is the Dortmunder, I'm not too sure. A little bit rusty with my German brewing culture, I do apologise. This is just absolutely wonderful. It really, really is. Is it the most exciting example of the style? No. But I could still happily give this a very solid 8.5 out of 10. In fact, from what I can remember, there's not really too much different from this and the Spezial that they do. But again, you're not going to complain if either of them come your way. Let's be honest. But yeah, traditional German beers, can you top them? When they're done right, and let's face it, they're done right a hell of a lot of time, which I'll be a hell of a lot of the time, I don't know. Let's not get stereotypical again, Peter, after that slightly racist introduction. See, I can read German, slightly good, with the right pacing and the structure of the sentences, but my actual knowledge of German language has really diminished, which actually depresses me sometimes. But thankfully, I could drink a beer like this, it perks me up, and I'm my jolly self again. So I must remember to next time I'm visiting friends in Regensburg, I have to get myself some lederhosen. And does anybody know anywhere in the UK that sells frozen pretzels? Because I am craving cheese and ham pretzels, which I know isn't like a really specific German thing, all in all, but I used to just engulf that when I was there. And yeah, anyway, this isn't a story time video, this is just a review, so I'm going to cut it off there. So a massive thank you for you sitting around and watching me go on like a madman with this beer. I've reviewed a few of the beers, so I'm sure there will be a playlist. If not, there's definitely going to be a German beer playlist, because Germany, you are my heart, you are my soul. And let's not make any more modern talking references on this channel, even though I would love to actually meet both Thomas Anders and Dieter Bohlen. Great guys, great guys. Anyway, beautiful beer. Definitely give it a go if you see it. And yeah, if you have tried it, let me know your thoughts, opinions. If any of my friends and fellow beer troops have reviewed it, their links will be down below. Check out Arcade Beers, of course, and again, massive shout out to my beer brothers, Craig from Kent Beer Reviews, Rob from Hopscene, and Stuart from Ginger Ale Ale Trail. Had a great time, drank some great beers, even better company, and picked up some beers that you will be seeing on the channel. So yeah, thank you for watching, and I shall hopefully see you all later. Prost und auf Wiedersehen. Tschüss.